And now it's time for us to discuss more of these headlines in simple keywords with Adam joining us on Zoom. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, happy Monday, Lena. I'm a fan of what? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that in the intro.
Golf.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's not a
That's no new news, is it?
secret anymore, is it?
No.
The producer and I were commenting off air how you look tanner.
Oh, yeah,
Yes. Good
I
morning.
know. Sunscreen don't really work for me, I'm afraid.
All right. So I guess I'm giving it away. We'll be talking about golf, and a lot of our listeners have already guessed the answer. So, yes, the
Yeah.
trend has remained popular throughout the pandemic. It has a pretty unlikely following in the younger, I guess, demographic, right? Those in their
Yeah,
30s, even 20s.
yeah,
We'll talk about
yeah.
it in detail in our second hour. All right. Let's jump into keyword news, shall we?
Let's.
This is our first pick of the day.
Inauguration.
So only a day to go until Yoon Suk-yeol becomes South Korea's new president. What's in store for tomorrow, Adam?
Right, well, as the clock strikes midnight, Yoon will begin his official duties by first getting briefed from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's kind of what usually happens when a new president comes into office. And that will happen actually at a bunker in Yongsan, where the new presidential office will be. Now, watch us say Yoon has chosen to be briefed at Yongsan to kind of show his role as commander-in-chief and also to kind of alleviate any security concerns over the presidential office moving to Yongsan. That was one of the concerns that was being mentioned with the move. These briefings have happened in different places for different presidents. Park Geun-hye and Moon Jae-in, for example, they both received their briefing at their residences. Lee Myung-bak was briefed in the transition team office at the time. As for the actual inauguration ceremony tomorrow, Yoon will step out of his car as soon as he enters the National Assembly compound, and he'll walk 180 meters across the plaza there. And he'll also be shaking hands and possibly taking selfies with people at the plaza if security allows. That's something his predecessors haven't really done. They've kind of gotten out of the car in front of the stage and then they've taken the stage straight on.
Right.
Now, all this is going to begin at 11 a.m. That's when the ceremony will start officially. Yoon and his wife, Kim Gun-hee, plan to walk up the stage holding hands with 20 people selected as, quote, representatives of people's hope. And there'll be an inauguration speech, as usual, that will last apparently about 25 minutes. His team says the speech will be about rebuilding Korea on the foundation of freedom, human rights, markets, fairness, and solidarity, according to his team. Now, Yoon is said to have urged the committee to make sure the ceremony features what they're calling lesser-known stars rather than kind of well-known celebrities. This all incorporates the theme of the presidential office's relocation to Yongsan. The whole idea of it moving there was to be closer to the people.
Right.
Now, screens will be installed also on both sides of the stage to broadcast the opening of Cheongwon to the public in real time. That's all happening on the same day. After the ceremony, Yoon plans to skip the customary car parade and go straight to his new office in Yongsan and begin work after visiting a nearby senior citizens community center and children's park as well. So straight to business with him. And he will then meet with the foreign delegations at his office that have attended the ceremony. And in the afternoon, Yoon will attend an inauguration celebration at the National Assembly as well and host a dinner with leading government and business officials with some foreign delegates there as well.
It seems no time to waste. Straight to business, as you've said. This also implies that the last day for the current president is imminent. Let's talk about our second keyword of the day.
Last day.
So President Moon Jae-in is serving his last day in office today. How will he be spending his last day? Do we know?
Right. Well, Moon and members of his cabinet, they'll be spending their final day in office paying respects at the Seoul National Cemetery and the burial site of independence activist at Hyochang Park. He will then give his final address as the president in the morning. He'll also meet with his Singaporean counterpart, Halima Yacob, who is visiting Korea for Yoon's inauguration. Moon will also meet a few other foreign delegates as well who have come for the ceremony, some officials from China as well. And he'll be leaving the presidential office at 6 p.m. today. And he and his wife will spend a night at a nearby hotel upon completing his official term. Moon is also then scheduled to attend the actual inauguration ceremony tomorrow, as is customary. Afterwards, he's scheduled to take a train to his private residence in Yangsan, South Gyeongsang Province. And we don't quite know if he'll enter or re-enter politics, but as of now, it seems that he won't. But yeah, that is his schedule for the next 2 days.
All right, now here's a loaded question, Adam, and there's not a lot of time on the clock, so you have to give us a short answer. How are people assessing Moon's performance over the past 5 years? I mean, thinking about how he entered office, it seems like it was high hopes that fueled his first few years.
That's right. Well, it certainly is quite a mixed bag. I mean, some positives and negatives, of course, as is the same with any other president. And he'll be mostly remembered for prosecution reform, the pandemic, of course, during his tenure. But most notably, one of his failures, as many have criticized, is his real estate policies, because house prices are still skyrocketing. And he'll also be remembered mostly for the peace process with North Korea, although it has been largely unfinished. And he's also one of the presidents who started off with one of the highest approval ratings for any South Korean president, ranging from 84% early on in his term, but that kind of halved to about 40% in recent weeks. Of course, real estate policies being the Achilles heel, and also prosecution reform having a lot of political backlash and controversy. And also, yes, in the early days, peace process with North Korea seemed to be going well, but as of yet, there has been nothing more on that.
Right. Thank you for giving us a short end of it. We could have gone on and on. I mean, there is, like you said, it's a mixed bag of reactions as any presidency is marred by. I think that's perhaps a universal theme. We'll leave it there for now. President Moon Jae-in's last day in office today. On to our third keyword of the day.
By-elections.
So former presidential candidates are running for the by-elections next month. Strong contenders. What's the latest?
Yeah, so Lee Jae-myung and An Chol-soo, they both declared their bids. Lee will run for the seat representing Incheon's Gyeongsang B district. Now, that seat has been vacant since former DP chairman Song Young-gil resigned to run in the Seoul mayoral election in April. He said that he had decided to make a frontal breakthrough after much consideration to support the DP. And he appealed to voters for an opportunity to work, referring to his self-branded kind of image of a competent worker. And he also promised to turn Gyeongsang into the Silicon Valley of Incheon, filled with creative talent and new jobs. An Chol-soo will run for seats representing Bundang A district of Sangnan City. The PPP's Kim Eun-ae, the former Presidential Transition Committee spokesperson, leaves that seat and is now running for the Gyeonggi provincial governor post. In his speech, An said that Sangnan has turned it into a Gotham City, in his words, under the DP's 12-year tenure, referring to the Daejangdong scandal surrounding Lee Jae-myung when he served as the governor there. And An Chol-soo also mentioned that he was the first venture entrepreneur to build the headquarters of the company in Bundang, emphasizing his relation to the district, namely his antivirus software company, AnLab, which was based in Pangyo Techno Valley since 2011.
All right, so that's the latest on the by-elections, and on to our fourth keyword of the day.
COVID rebound.
So, is that a question mark at the end?
It is, yes.
All right. So, Korea's new coronavirus cases bounced back to the 40,000s on Sunday. Is this something to be concerned about? Hence the question mark.
Yes, hence the question mark. But according to health officials, not so much. Nothing really to be concerned about. Daily cases are, according to them anyway, widely on a downward trend, even after the lifting of almost all these antivirus curbs. But some experts are slightly concerned about the possibility of a resurgence in the colder seasons. The extent of the resurgence is still unknown. And of course, these new variants and subvariants of Omicron, they're also being closely watched as well. They are said to be more transmissible, but the severity of infection is still said to be quite low. Now, although Sunday's figure was quite high, that may be due to people enjoying the eased restrictions and, of course, the extended holiday that included Children's Day on Thursday. Health authorities said the downtrend in new cases is likely to continue as more people have been immunized via infections or vaccinations. And some experts are forecasting daily cases could fall to the 10,000s in the coming weeks, We'll have to see. But as of yet, according to health officials, nothing to be worried about too much.
All right, on to our last keyword of the day.
North remains silent.
So North Korean state media continues to stay silent over the regime's recent missile launches, including one from Saturday. And of course, we're trying to decipher what are their reasonings for this, because they're usually really quick to boast their military stance.
That's right. They usually give kind of a detailed report on weapons tests or missile tests the very next morning. On Sunday, state media had still said nothing about the SLBM launched the day before, or the previous ICBM launch happened last week on May 4th as well. And it was the SLBM launch was the first test by North Korea since a mini SLBM was fired on October 19th. South Korean military experts have determined that the SLBM launched over the weekend also seems to have been a mini SLBM. It's not exactly clear why the North is not commenting, but some experts say this is because of pressure from China, and Russia as well. They've both, although allies of the North, they've kind of been urging the North to die down its weapons testing. Other experts say that the North might be trying to achieve what they're calling strategic ambiguity and is trying to make these provocations seem like ordinary military actions. There's also speculation the regime is waiting for the right time to announce progress in its nuclear weapons program all at once, maybe in time for Yoon's inauguration or his beginning of time in office. Or they could also be eyeing Joe Biden's trip to South Korea for a summit with Yoon as well.
Kind of as a bargaining chip, if you will. Usually these provocations come with a purpose and diplomatic, maybe strings, prowess. It could be a number of different things, but it seems that there are a number of different analyses at this point, and they don't necessarily all point to the same thing.
Right. And usually, though, when North Korea reports on this, is usually when they're successful. So that's another possibility that if they have been unsuccessful. So I guess we'll have to see in the next days or weeks if the North does say anything about them.
Let's see. I think that's a good place to end off keyword news, if you don't mind. Monday, I apologize. Thank you. And we'll speak to you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.